What's up, Sunny fam? I'm Element.
I'm Flip.
And we get together every week to talk about everything Asian entertainment. This week, it's Vincenzo again in what seems to be our funniest episode yet. Let's talk about it.
Oh, I had so much fun. It was a lot of laughs, a lot of emotional things that was happening in this episode. Not too much in terms of action or intrigue.
Yeah.
This episode was lighthearted and fun.
Absolutely. And to start things off, we come into this episode with Mr. Cho holding Vincenzo at gunpoint when they're trying to get the gold, and it turns out that he is, I guess, a former intelligence service agent who is trying to get the guillotine file, and Vincenzo anticipated this.
Yeah, and we predicted in our last video too. It's like, he's a smart guy, right? He is always anticipating whatever can go wrong. What is that? What is that saying? What goes wrong can go wrong?
Murphy's Law.
Murphy's Law. In any case, he's always anticipated. He knew that he was lying at some point in their partnership, and so he was prepared for it. But what wasn't really that surprising is that we knew that Mr. Cho wasn't going to kill Vincenzo.
Yes.
I mean, he saved his life, as he pointed out to Vincenzo, and so they kind of come up with some kind of amicable agreement. So all the tenants were rushing back to the building. Vincenzo and Mr. Cho was in a rush. They had to throw everything back into the basement, including the key piece that would open it up.
And of course, that was the iris recognition device, and they only had one. And it was in the jacket of Mr. Cho, and they threw it down there. Now it was stuck down there. There's no way to open up the secret door again. And so that's another foil added to their list of problems, going back to their problems with Babel, with Jang Han-suk. He is now he's parading himself around now. He has announced himself to all of the other board members, and of course selling his tower or real estate in his tower for some money. And of course all of those individuals like the press and the intelligence services swearing to keep his dirty little secrets under the radar. But that doesn't last very long. So there's this thing with the mafia where they have to show the other families what they're capable of, and what do they do to do that?
They bathe them in pig's blood.
Absolutely, and this is something that, of course, Cho-Yeoung wanted to see really badly, and this is something that Vincenzo delivered upon with spectacular fashion. There was this huge ruse with the union leader, vision team leader. There's a lot of people involved in this ruse, including the Twin Swords gang, as portrayed by the Gunga Plaza residents.
Yep.
And they put on this show and put together enough evidence for them to play in front of Jang Han-suk when he's giving his inspirational speech to youth leaders, and that's when it happens.
Oh, that scene was just so fantastic. When the blood just comes splashing down and you see it in his face, 2 p.m. is super angry, but you also get to see a little bit of a hint from his brother.
Yes.
Having a little bit of a good time there, laughing at the expense of his brother's embarrassing situation right there. But then, that's kind of when, your theory about him flipping suddenly started floating and percolating in my head.
Yes.
It's like, you know what? Maybe he will flip at some point. Lo and behold, that is also in motion.
Absolutely. His conniving mind is leveling up as he's watching the pig's blood flow all around Han-suk. He's like, oh, am I scared of my brother still? Looking back at Vincenzo, and then he starts to giggle a little bit. And
I love that giggle too. He's like,
yeah, I think he's starting to realize he does not have to fear his brother, and I think he's gonna start making moves, and especially with Mr. Han whispering in his ear, you need to do this, you need to do that in order to usurp your brother's rule as the chairman.
And they do end up booking a meeting with Vincenzo,
Yes.
and we learned some really cool things about Vincenzo's principles here.
Yeah.
You don't betray your own family. And so that was actually pretty cool. I don't know, you're trying to win against Babel, right? I would have probably taken him up for that offer.
Yeah, that seems like an easy deal to kind of accept at face value, but he does raise a great point, as you say, with his principles when he says, I do not meddle in other people's or another families' bickering, lest my own family betray me. And so, that was kind of, he put the kibosh on that proposal really quickly. Miss Somiri, she was a hacker. And it's not really surprising because everybody in the plaza has some deep, dark history with doing other things in their life. And it turns out, as she reveals to Vincenzo, she designed the demolition system as well as the iris recognition system for the secret basement.
And of course, it's the one thing that could give them more hope into recovering all of this gold and including the guillotine file. Like, that was so crazy. Like, how did all of this happen? Like, every tenant is going to have their own special episode before this whole series is over. Now it's Miss So's time. And so the prosecution brings Jang-suk in 2 p.m. I'm just going to keep calling him 2 p.m. So it brings 2 p.m. in, Miss Choi and all of the Woo-sang lawyers into the interrogation room. And then all of a sudden, all of this evidence that was put forth before them doesn't count.
Yes, and even though this was largely a very small beans type of charge being levied at Han-suk, they revealed that it was just a decoy for them to set up what they really wanted to target, which was one of Babel's paper companies. And in the West, that would be known as the shell company, in which case you would be able to launder money through it, evade taxes, and of course, participate in some more illegal stuff.
And this is where the ghost lady, Miss So, comes into the picture,
Yes.
right? She's the hacker. She knows all of these computer hacking skills to concoct a plan to go visit one of these paper companies that Babel is under control. It's some kind of museum or art gallery. I forgot what the name is.
Art gallery, yes.
Royal Salgung or something like that.
Ragusang.
Ragusang. I'm so bad. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
So they have to visit this Ragusang gallery, which seems to be one of the shell companies for Babel, and they go in as a couple. First of all, this isn't the start of the funniest episode, but like this episode was just way more laughing than I anticipated. I was expecting the story to develop starting from Mr. Cho to, the inauguration of Jang Han-suk, but no, they gave us sort of like a silly kind of satirical Ocean's 11 heist with this gallery. They had to go in, plug in the thumbstick, and get the files and the evidence on all of their international transactions. We had Miss So in the van with the thug guy. I don't know his name, but he runs the Bye Bye Balloon company along with the accounting girl. But then they had all of the other people playing their parts, the police and the international agents.
Yeah, that was really spectacular. Like, it was a grand scheme. But the funniest parts, or like part of the funniest parts about this was like when the real couple was picked up and brought into the plaza, they had all of these shenanigans prepared for them, and then they were having like this fake wedding because the fake couple at the art gallery, which is Vincenzo and Cho-Yeoung, they had to pretend to be a real couple, and boy, we finally got that kiss.
Congratulations, your wedding, forever love.
Now fight with black hair,
From
gray
black hair to white hair. So yes, we did get to the kiss, and it was a very passionate and sensual kiss.
Oh, that was great. I mean, she caught him off guard. She was just like, he was hesitating. He was like trying to buy some time, and then all of a sudden,
Yes, and he got into it, his eyes closed, and he was like, yes, baby, yes.
we were
And
just
if you know,
joking
you
around
know.
too. It was like, oh, is that a little tongue?
Oh, yeah, and that's when she opened her eyes. She had kissed him passionately. He closed his eyes, got into it, but her eyes opened up. She's like, oh, what's that? It was overall a very funny episode. There was a lot of comedy mixed herein from like Mr. An, from Mr. Han. Everyone had such amazing and brilliant comedic timing in this episode, especially Cha-Young when she's speaking English.
Oh yeah,
It's hilarious to listen to.
that's funny. Just want to give an episodic shout out to Mr. An. Like, he just puts a smile on my face every time he comes on screen, when he like does one of these, when he flips the jackets.
Yeah.
Even when they come in and he's got, when he's just showing the cards, and oh man, it's just hilarious.
And behind the scenes of all of that rests the looming shadow that we've been expecting this whole time. When they gave us a fun episode, there's something looming in the background, which is Miss Choi, who is talking to Paolo, Vincenzo's brother. And so the episode approaches the end where Cha-Young and Vincenzo are having a good time. They're reminiscing about their day, and someone's following Vincenzo.
Yeah, he's cornered. There's 3 versus 1, but it feels like he's prepared for it, right? Like, he's been prepared for just about any kind of scenario throughout this entire series. And so I don't think anything wrong or anything bad is gonna happen here. He's got his lighter in his hand, so he's like, it's time to get back to the real brutal Vincenzo, I don't know what's gonna happen because there's gotta be something that you can take from the first episode where he didn't kill Paolo. Like, he opted not to kill Paolo, even though Paolo attempted to kill him at that time. And so, like, I kind of have like a feeling that Paolo might do something here. This is just a really bad prediction, but I feel like Paolo is going to help him. I don't know, maybe.
Well, I mean, there's this certain thing in stories called plot armor, and we're not on the final episode, so Vincenzo's not going to die, of course. I think he lured them to the roof intentionally. I don't think he was just walking off to be alone or away from Cho-Yeoung. And of course, like, if they just shoot right then and there, the series is over. So
Vincenzo's dead.
There's more episodes to come. He obviously survives this encounter, and someone does in fact help him.
You think someone's gonna come in and rescue him?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's gonna be Paolo. I think
it's gonna be Cho-Yeoung.
Perhaps, but she still has her little thigh holster.
Oh, that was so sexy!
Yes, it was. I just don't think he's gonna meet his end there. I think, like you said, he's been prepared every step of the way, and so he's definitely prepared for this kind of contingency. We're just gonna have to see what he does next.
Oh, okay. Well, what do you think is gonna happen to Vincenzo? Obviously, he's probably gonna make it, but leave your theories in the comment section below. Leave us a like, subscribe if you haven't already, tap that bell notification so you know when we post new videos, and once again, you have a great, amazing day. We'll see you next time.